through, what is this area over here called?
The cornea.
And then what is this area, oh, what is the fluid in here called?
That's the aqueous humor.
The aqueous humor, that's going to be what we call the anterior chamber.
The anterior.
Everything in front of the lens is the anterior chamber. What do you think we call everything behind the lens?
Posterior chamber.
Good. So here we go. Let's tell me what's going. The ray of light comes through, goes through this tissue, which is called,
The cornea.
goes through this, which is called,
Aqueous humor.
in the anterior chamber, which goes through this,
The lens.
goes through this,
The vitreous humor.
vitreous humor, which comes back and hits the retina. Let's find out what that's all about. It's all about this nonsense.
Okay.
All right, got the pictures? So the light is coming in from the left and going in across here, going to the right. What do you think this pink stuff is over here? That's sclera.
Sclera.
What is this black stuff over here?
Is that the
The choroid, choroid, and everything from this black layer on is retina. How many layers does the retina have?
4.
Everybody see the 4 layers? 1, 2, 3, 4.
okay?
Notice that there, if I put an arrow on this dark layer, that's a pigmented layer, be very careful on the test. Because there's the pigmented layer of the choroid, and there's the pigmented layer of the retina. There's 2 different answers.
So if it's darker, it's the choroid?
The darker one is the choroid, but this is also dark.
Right.
It's also trying to make sure the light doesn't spread. So now what happens with that ray of light? The light goes through this layer, through this layer, through this layer. It excites this layer, which then synapses with this layer, which then synapses with this layer, and it sends all the nerves over here out to the optic nerve. So the light goes in here, bounces back, comes down on a cable. The light bounces here, comes back, goes out on a cable. All the cables from all over the eye come out this one spot. That's the optic nerve, and that's why right over here, there is no retina, it's a blind spot. All right, now let's name these layers. 4 layers of the retina. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4th or deepest layer is the pigmented layer of the retina. I don't think it's hard to memorize that one, is it?
No.
The very first layer of nerves here are the very special nerves that involve transducing the light into an action potential. This is called the layer, this is the nuclei over here, these are all nuclei. These nuclei are the nuclei of the photoreceptive cells, therefore this is called the photoreceptive layer.
Photoreceptive.
It receives the photons. As it gets excited, it then sends the axon over here to the dendrite over here, and this is the nuclei of the bipolar cells. We finally see these bastards. We've heard enough about them. I forget, are bipolar cells, do they have Schwann cells or not? Do they have a myelin sheath or not?
They don't have a myelin sheath.
No myelin sheath. They don't need it. See how close it is. It's not like it's going from your spinal cord to your big toe. That's a long distance. This is not so far. It doesn't need it. So it's gone through the photoreceptive layer to the ganglion, to the bipolar layer. This is called the ganglion layer, and then they send the message on out. So let's see if we can do this again. Light comes through, gets stopped by the pigmented layer of the retina, which then over here, these are the dendrites of the photoreceptive cells, which then go through the nuclei, the photoreceptive layer, which then synapses with the bipolar cells, which synapses with the ganglion cells, which then goes all the way out over here to the optic nerve, all that wiring.
Okay.
Let's get a little more specific here. There are 2 kinds of photoreceptive cells, rods and cones. Most of the eye has rods. They're cheaper to make, and they're therefore black and white vision. So at night, when there's no light, and you see things in shadows and grays, blacks and whites, that's your rods and cones. When there's light on, and you have the ability to see color, those are the cones. You have fewer cones, they're more expensive to make, but they're important. So over here, I'm not gonna look at you and say, can you tell me if this is a rod or a cone? You can't tell me, you don't know. Special staining, special slide technique to figure that out. So these are the photoreceptive layers made up of rods and cones. This is what layer is this?
Bipolar.
What layer
Bipolar.
is this?
The ganglia.
Ganglion.
Okay. Now, notice the next square is right in the sweet spot. Yes, I can. Oh, I'm sorry, that's got the layer. Sorry about that. This is the sweet spot, is it not?
Yes.
Well, the sweet spot is a little bit different from this spot. Over here, rods and cones, mostly cones. Over here, mostly cones. And in the dead center of it, of the sweet spot, it's all cones. Now, the sweet spot has a better name than sweet spot. And you've probably heard its name but didn't realize it because of the way the disease is called. Have you ever heard of macular degeneration?
Yes.
Yes.
Macular degeneration is the degeneration of the macula lutea. And this whole area, this box, is showing you where the lutea, the macula lutea is. And in the center, there's a little dot, a little hole, not a hole, but like a little dent, and that's called the fovea centralis, the little hole in the center. The center part, the fovea centralis, is all cones. So let's actually go to the very end here for a second. Looking inside the eye in a ophthalmoscope, can you see all the pink stuff here?
Mhm.
That's all retina. Can you see, oh, look over here, see this white disc? That's the blind spot. That's the optic disc where all the wiring is going out of the eye. Can you see this area right here?
Yeah.
Macula lutea. That is the sweet spot. So over here, the whole area is going to be mostly cones, C-O-N-E-S. And if you look closely, there's a little dot there. Don't worry, you'll see it on the next slide. Everybody got a picture so far? Got it?
I'm taking a video.
Oh, video, good.
Yeah, sorry.
Can you see over here that the dot over here is a little bit bigger? That is the fovea centralis. Here's the optic nerve. And notice what's coming out of the optic nerve. The nutrient blood vessel to the inside of the eye. This is a great place to put the blood vessel because it's coming through the nerve. You're not losing any area of retina. Now let's go back here. So now let's take a look at the macula lutea. Let's go the wrong way. Let's go, here's the macula lutea. From here to here is the macula lutea, which means that this is mostly rods, mostly cones, some rods. And can everybody see that there's something different about this?
Mm-hmm.
This is the fovea. It only has cones here. Now, let's look up the top here. What layer of the eye is this?
Is it the gang?
The fibrous layer, which is called the sclera.
Square.
What layer is this?
The choroid?
The choroid, part of the vascular layer, which is vascular and heavily pigmented. Can you see this black line over here?
Mm-hmm.
From this black line forward, it's all retina, the neural coat. This is the pigmented layer of the retina. What layer is this? The layer of photoreceptive nuclei, or photoreceptive layer.
Mhm.
What layer is this?
Bipolar.
Which one? Bipolar. And what is this
Bipolar.
one?
Ganglion.
Let's go forward here. How many, here I see 1, 2, 3 layers other than the pigmented layer. Other than the pigmented layer, how many layers are there in the fovea? 2. There is no bipolar layer, doesn't need it. Goes right from the cones right to the ganglion
Yeah.
cells.
I thought it was just thin.
So it has the
I thought it was just
photoreceptors.
thin. It looked like
Yeah.
there's still a line.
Yeah, it does. There is a line there, but that's going to be the ganglion.
So basically it stops at the top and the ganglia. Just keep
The
going.
ganglion's purple, the top is more lighter. So now, you should be able to now, be very careful. See the bracket right over here? This is the way the test question will probably look. And it'll say, what is this? The answer is phobia. Or
We can just
phobia
put,
centralis.
can we put either or?
It's gonna be multiple choice.
Okay, oh, perfect.
Yay!
Yay, process of
Now,
elimination.
I've never seen them do this, but what I would do is I'd put a bracket from here to here, and what would the answer be for that?
That would be the thing it starts with an M, the
macula
macula
glutea.
lutea.
Glutea.
Lutea.
Everybody see that?
Yeah.
So there's your, it's all written out there.
Here, can I take a picture of that? My arm hurts.
All right. So now we're looking at the last spot. What is important about this spot? That's the blind spot. That's the optic disc on this side and the optic nerve on the other. Let's take a look. And over here, so if the bracket was over here, that's optic disc. But if the bracket was over this way,
That's the
you can
nerve.
see how that's going to be the optic nerve?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. And you can see where the blood vessels will come right through.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect spot for it. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we have the eyelids. Another name for the eyelids are palpebrae. So what do you think we call the muscles that open and shut the eyelids? Palpebral muscles. You see these little circles over here? These are different glands, meibomian glands and tarsal glands, which will help, oil up the eye a little bit. You don't want this area of the eye to get dry. What area of the eye is this?
The cornea.
And you don't want that to dry out. So we're going to find many ways of keeping it moist. Now, what is this black layer right over here? What the hell is that?
That's the choroid layer.
This black layer, what did you say?
Choroid?
That's not the choroid. Is there any choroid in front of the lens?
No, that's the aqueous. The aqueous humor, right?
The anterior chamber is everything in front of the lens and behind the cornea. So this is the anterior chamber. And you're thinking it's aqueous humor? No, the aqueous humor would be clear.
Okay.
This is a trick question. He would never ask you this. See, I would.
Oh my God.
Well, because let's take a look over here. If I took a slice, look at the eye under a microscope, and I went right over here, right dead center,
Mm-hmm.
it would look like this, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Is that the iris?
Yeah.
Because it went right dead center. What happened if I took the slice right over here? There'd be no space in the middle, would there?
No.
Then it would sort of look like this. That is the iris.
That's the iris? Okay.
He'll never show that on the test. I just wanted to bust your chops.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. You the realist.
Anyway, this is going to be the lens. What's the material behind the lens?
I don't know. I don't want to get it wrong.
The vitreous humor.
Vitreous humor, or vitreous, V-I-T-R-E-U-S, I think, vitreous humor.
Yeah. Posterior chamber.
Now, there's one more thing here. You don't really see it well demarcated, but on the back of the eyelid, over here in the sac, around the cornea, down in the sac, in the back of the eyelid, there's a single layer of tissue called the conjunctiva. The conjunctiva is what's going to be lining, and it makes a lot of fluid. Anybody here have the misfortune of having pink eye?
I was just going to say, isn't that what they call it?
Conjunctivis, baby.
Just had it.
So
Oh,
over
yeah,
here,
baby.
awful.
you don't have to know this, but wherever the conjunctiva is, where it gets its name. This would be the palpable conjunctiva, the conjunctival sac, the bulbar conjunctiva sac, and the palpable conjunctiva. So you close your eyes, it moistens the area. Don't worry about those names. All you have to know is the word conjunctiva.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have the slides of it, Now over here, we've seen this slide before. Macula lutea, what's in the center of the macula lutea?
The fovea
Fovea
centralis.
centralis, optic disc. Over here, you can actually see the fovea
Fovea.
centralis. And now it's pointed out to you. Something bad? Are we all right?
No, she's a smart ass, that's
No, I'm saying we get that confused with the fovea capitis or whatever it is on.
That's right. That's my next question, so I don't have to ask you. You get 5 points.
What?
Yeah, there are certain
Her
things.
name's Sarah.
There are certain things tonight you've only heard once before. You've heard the word phobia before in the fovea capitis femoris, that hole in the head of the femur, where what ligament goes into the fovea capitis femoris?
Femur.
There are 4 ligaments to the hip. Name them. Go.
Shit.
I know, you.
Last word is
Sac-
femoral. Something femoral.
Ischiofemoral, pubofemoral.
Ready? Ischio.
I'm telling you right now.
Do it, baby.
Pubofemoral, ischiofemoral, iliofemoral, and then
And?
there's the sacroiliac.
No.
No. Oh shit. Ooh.
Not you.
Oh my god. I don't
It's the
know.
ligament. It's the ligament that goes from inside the acetabulum into the fovea capitis femoris. It's a very straight ligament.
Teres major.
Just ligament of teres.
Damn it.
Teres major becomes a muscle, a straight muscle back here. So the ligament of teres. So
That's on the exam,
there are
that's
2
1
things
point.
tonight that you're going to hear twice. One was the word phobia. So you've heard fovea capitis femoris. You've now heard of the phobia in the over here in the macula lutea. Now earlier this year we used the word trochlea. What was that?
The trochlear notch.
Well, the trochlear notch is on the other side of the other bone. This is the trochlear notch. It looks like a little notch. But what is the trochlea? Where is it? What does it do?
It's on the humerus.
And what about what part of the humerus?
With the word B.
Yeah, that's where it bends. Now remember, if it was the femur, there are 2 rounded areas. They're called condyles, the medial lateral condyle, right?
Yeah.
Well, you'd have the same thing in the elbow, but you don't call it the condyle. We have names for it. One is called the capitulum,
Capitulum.
and the other one's called the.
Tro-
And the trochlea has that little notch in it that looks like a place where you put a rope and it looks like a pulley. Well, and when we go over the muscles, we're going to talk about something called the trochlea,
Okay.
which is a little hoop that one of the muscles goes through and changes the directions. Just to speed it up a little bit, you all know your cranial nerves now.
Yeah, maybe.
So what's
Close.
what was that Latin word for the hoop? What was the word I just said? Trochlea. So trochlea is Latin for a pulley system or a hoop, all right? Have you ever heard the word trochlea in relation to cranial nerves?
Yes. Isn't it like the 3rd or 4th?
Which one is it?
It's the one. It's on
Oh,
the side.
Yeah, it's the 3rd, isn't it?
No.
No, I
The
think
fourth.
it's the fifth.
It's the 4th.
Damn it.
Does anybody have an acronym for the cranial nerves?
Yeah, my fiance told me a really gross one.
If it works.
It was like to touch virgin girl, something virgin, hymen, I don't know. It was really gross.
It'll work.
Yeah, he still remembers it. It was from his bachelor's degree, and that was like forever ago. So
It'll work. Although
he literally texted it to me like 20 minutes ago when I was like, I can only miss 10 points. He's like, and I was like, go away.
it's the one that'll stick with you. I have one I have memorized from
To touch
neurology.
a
Where we had to learn
female's vagina.
all the different types of fibers
I'm not
coming out of the
kidding.
cranial nerves.
I'm like,
And boy, let me tell you, filthy, but you remember it. All right, now let's look over here.
vagina and hymen. There we go. Yeah.
Let's look at the plastic eye.
Wait, can I take a picture of this?
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna stop my video. Bad with phones. I just got the iPhone 7 and I don't know how. Oh, are you talking about that?
Yeah, that takes a
I've been
picture.
stopping my videos.
Yeah, you can just take a picture with it.
I hate my life. Thank you.
Cool. All right,
Learn something new every day.
what we're looking at over here is a left eye. Here's where the nose would be. You can see over here the sclera and the clear cornea, all part of the fibrous tunic. Inside that, you're looking at the vascular tunic. You can see over here the choroid, and as the choroid comes forward, you can see the iris. What part can you not see on the outside of the vascular tunic?
Uh,
Vascular tunic has three parts. The choroid, something else. The what? No, retina's on the inside, that's the neural tunic.
the ciliary body.
The ciliary body you can't see, it's on the inside. And you can see over here the pupil. Let's go on. Here we have more, we see some of the muscles of the eye. Some of them are oblique like this, some of them are straight like these two. But still, you can only see over here is the choroid. Here is the pupil. See the space over here between the cornea over here? That's part of the anterior chamber. And what's this thing over here coming out the end?
Optic nerve.
Optic nerve.
So does the lateral rectus perform abduction of the eye?
Yeah. And we'll go over that in just a couple of seconds. Exactly, that'll help you. Now over here, we've taken away the choroid. We're looking on the inside. What's this little thing over here?
The
That's the lens.
lens.
And what's this supposed to be over here? The vitreous humor. See how the vitreous humor takes up the whole space and helps push the retina up against the wall there, keeps it straight. Now here's the lens. Everything in front of the lens is the anterior chamber.
Okay.
Everything behind the lens is the posterior chamber. You can see also on the inside the pink. See over here the pink, that's all retina. Here's the pink, that's all retina. You can see right about over here where the choroid, his choroid over here. Over here you can see where it thickens right near the lens. That's where the ciliary bodies are. Here's the iris. I'm going to be going to your A&P gallery in a little while and we'll show this to you better. Now let's look from behind. This is still the left eye.
Sorry.
Whenever you see the lacrimal gland, that's where the tear things are from the upper outer, upper lateral, and the tears go across, go plant inframedially. Let's count the muscles we see. First, the straight muscles. They're all called rectus. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is medial, superior, lateral. So medial rectus, superior rectus, lateral rectus, inferior rectus. Then there are two muscles that come from obliques. There's the top, the superior oblique, and over here is the inferior oblique. Those are the 6 muscles of the eye. Can you see that with the lateral rectus muscle over here, when it contracts, it's going to pull the eye that way, laterally. Well, let's look at the eye. If the eye goes medial, the medial rectus pulls it this way, lateral rectus pulls it away. What motion is that? What motion is this?
Adduction and abduction.
So the lateral rectus pulls it away. It abducts. Is there a cranial nerve that sounds like abduction?
Yeah, there's the abducer.
Abducens sounds pretty good. So what muscle do you think the abducens innervates?
The eye.
Lateral
I don't
Lateral
know.
rectus. Because what does the lateral rectus do?
abduction.
Okay. Now the superior oblique is the one that goes through a
Not getting
hoop
it.
and goes that way. I'll show you the hoop on the model over there. So the superior oblique goes through the trochlea. What nerve do you think innervates the superior oblique?
The medial rectus.
Trochlea nerve, yes. And now all the other muscles, they get innervated by one nerve. Which one? And the name gives it away. Oculomotor. Yeah, the vision motor nerve. The one that moves the eye. Okay?
So why is the lacrimal sac next to the medial rectus?
It's on the lateral rectus. Here's the medial rectus. Lateral, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Well, it's
There's a
superior.
lot.
It's superficial to it.
yeah. But why is it near the back of the eye when it's supposed to go to the front of the eye?
Model sucks.
Okay. That makes sense.
I tell you, we have a model of it here somewhere. We should. There's at least one. All right. Well, no, we're gonna play those. We have one with the.
It's like a Mr. Potato Head.
How it goes on
I
this
think
one.
it goes in.
Yeah, put it on there. Make it feel good. All right, here we go. So let's now see what else we got.
Exactly how I feel right now. Look at that model over there. Why am I here? Sassy.
All right, let's.
I'm gonna put this up on YouTube too.
Over here you can see the orbicularis oculi muscle, and you see it's not even close to the lateral medial rectus. It's outside.
Okay.
Anyway, here's the lacrimal gland, and the tears will come through the lacrimal ducts, which will go across the eye, and it'll be collected over here in the lacrimal puncta, which go into lacrimal canals, which empty into the lacrimal sac, and then goes into the nasolacrimal duct. So where do you think the nasolacrimal duct goes? Inside the nose. So when you cry, you get a stuffy nose.
That makes sense.
That's where it goes. That's where it exits.
That happens every time.
Who thinks that was a good idea? So let me see. I'm already crying. Now I'm gonna have a stuffed nose. Thanks.
Now I have to have
That's
boogers
fine.
coming out.
Yeah. What's that all about?
I often tell people I don't have tear ducts, and they actually believe me. I'm like, I don't cry, I don't have tear ducts, and they're like, seriously? How do you survive? And I'm like, I'm kidding. I'm just emotionless.
Anyway, look at the eye over here. The corners are called the acanthodic folds. You don't need to know that, but you need to know over here you're going to have medially the lacrimal caruncle. That's where all the sand goes, right? The sand man.
That's where the eye book is.
Yeah, that's right. That's because it's all mucus. It's all drying out,
I hate those.
becoming, oogies.
I know.
Now I'm self-conscious about
Okay.
them.
So go to your A&P lab. It'll help. Let's see what we got here. Anything else good? I want to see. No, I don't. Not this one. Let's go to the next one, I think. No, let's try the third one. Yeah, here we go. Over here, and we'll look at the model that's in front of you guys. You can see over here, this is going to be the lateral rectus. You can see the superior oblique over here. Medial rectus is barely visible. Here is the inferior rectus, inferior oblique. I want to be able to show you where the hoop is though. So let's turn the lights on.
I'm not watching him dissect the eye.
I'm not turning that off just yet. But everybody, you got one here? I thought I see it over here. Everybody come around here. I want you to look at this model, but if you look really closely, you see the little trochlea over here, the little hoop right there? See where you can see where the muscle changes direction? So, okay, over here you can see the muscles. You can see the superior rectus, lateral rectus, inferior rectus. If I pull this away, you got over here the medial rectus. But you see there's one muscle over here that's going this way. It goes to this hoop and goes backwards. That's the superior oblique.
This is the left eye, right?
That's correct. No, that's the right eye.
How can you tell if
Well, here's the nose.
That's the
Oh,
nose.
stop.
Oh, okay. So it's a right one, right?
Yeah, it's the right eye. And you can see over here, you can see the inferior oblique over here. So you should have no trouble naming these muscles. The straight ones, rectus, superior rectus, lateral rectus, medial rectus, inferior rectus. You can see over here the tendon, the superior oblique, and you can see the muscle over here for the inferior oblique. But can you see the trochlea over here? Over there? See that? That's where the tendon goes whoop, whoop. So, I hope you can see that. Because I can see you're asking about the trochlea, but I don't know. Does everybody know what they're supposed to know for the test?
It's right here.
Right.
Okay.
Before I go and do the eyeball, actually what I'll do is I'll do the eyeball right now for you, and then I'll go over it. I could go over like the first 5 weeks of class.
Yes.
So everybody,